Here's where I'm going to break Forrest's apart. Well, for those of us who have turned in our checkpoint, we're actually really good at solving equations here for the most part. For instance, speak of the devil, who just walked in, he solved all his quickly, except he messed up on one kind. So that's the kind I want to talk about today. And if I were you at the top of my paper, I would write these words. We already took a checkpoint on it. We're going to do a short quiz tomorrow. In addition to the short quiz, I'm going to give Forrest time to finish all the things, because if I hand Forrest one more thing, I think he might cry. So I'm going to give Forrest time to make sure he's got all the things done. So I could call out Forrest's name and say, Forrest, you still haven't turned in your book never written. Where is it? We can do that tomorrow too. Okay, since I'm calling it a quiz review, the good news is, even though I'm not going every problem, I'm going to post the key to them all tonight. So how on earth you don't turn it in completely done, that I don't know. Okay, the only ones I want to review, because I swear Andrew can do one step, and I swear Andrew can do two steps, which means that Andrew should be able to ace this quiz tomorrow. The only thing that concerns me is when there's a fraction, and to get rid of a fraction, you multiply by the, and that's how table 1 got their first point. Okay, someone last period asked, hey, Ms. Compton, do you multiply by the positive or negative reciprocal? It depends on the problem. Good grief. If our original fraction was positive, our reciprocal is positive. If our original fraction was negative, our reciprocal is negative. That makes sense. Okay, what is the reciprocal of 2/3? 3/2. Every group can have a point. We multiply by that reciprocal so that the 2's and the 3's on the left will cancel out, and we'll end up with x equals some number. Can someone tell me that number? Which simplifies to what?
You said 30 over 20.
She should be doing 10 times 3 over 2. I just want to know what number goes.
3 over 2.
Thank you, and table 1 can have a point. Okay, so we're doing 10 over 1 times 3 over 2, so we get 30 over 2, which is 15. If fractions have never been your friend, and this is the part that you're messing up on, if you can't multiply 10 times 3 over 2 in your head, there's good news for you. You can do it with a calculator. So if you're doing and you're confused, here are my suggestions in life. If you get a fancy calculator, now a plain Jane calculator is not going to work. It's going to have to be a fancy one, like my yellow ones or the black ones up here. If you press the alpha button and then y equals, you see it says n over d, and I click it, and look, now I can type in a fraction. So let me say that again. If you press alpha, clear, go away. If you press alpha and then y equals, lo and behold, you can type in fractions. So if Forrest needs to do 3 over 2 times 10, oh look, the calculator can do it for him. So if he thinks at fractions, he's going to use the calculator. Yeah. I have no problems with that whatsoever. Okay, so I'm going to skip a lot of the others. Let's go to number 7. What's the reciprocal on number 7? And then everyone caught themselves, except I did not hear your people. Did your people talk and I missed it? Okay, table 1 and 2 can add a point. Thank you for being honest. Okay, so if I multiply both sides by negative 5 over 6, the 5's cancel out, the 6's cancel out, negative 1 is positive 1. You end up with just k, which is what we wanted. And then k equals some number. I need to know what that number is. Yes, and table 2 gets a point. Because you would have gotten 12 over 1 times negative 5 over 6 is negative 60 over 6, which is negative 10. But again, if Jim hates fractions, stinking use the calculator, it can do it for you. So based off the checkpoints that have been turned in, because most people have turned in their checkpoint, based off the checkpoints that have been turned in, you can quiz on this. The only thing people are messing up on is the reciprocal. I'm hoping this helps and makes you feel a little more confident with it. Otherwise, you want to come see me tomorrow during zero period. Okay, as for the math workshop today, is there a volunteer for number 1? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Tell me the final answer.
Oh, final answer.
Yeah.
Okay. S squared minus 8 times 6.
Okay, I love her because she told me the final answer because I asked her to. What method is she using? And you can get a point for that. What method is she using when she does this? Yes, dear. Foil, and you can have a point for that. So foil is first, outer, inner, last. If you need to write it out, we were doing x times x and getting x squared. X times 2 and getting 2x. So we got x squared plus 2x minus 3x with the inner. Negative 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. When we combine those like terms, we do end up with what we have in blue. Now, if you need to draw the lines and you need to show your work, you can. But my goodness, if you can do that in your head and get straight to the answer, saving us a lot of time. So I would like, if you could try in your head, to go ahead and get to that final answer and combine the outer and inner in your head rather than writing it on paper. Okay, is there a volunteer for number 2? Yes, table 4, 5, whatever table you are.
Okay, 3 squared plus 13 plus 14.
Does someone need Miss Compton to actually FOIL it out and show you the 6 and the 7 make 13? You know how to do that? Okay, I'm glad y'all are geniuses because I've had to show it every other class period, but okay, I trust you. Okay, and then last but not least, can someone help me with number 3? Table 1, y'all are all over it. Yes, dear.
8q squared minus 6q plus 1.
Okay, I know 2 times 4 is 8, so 8q squared makes sense. Negative 2 minus 4 does give me negative 6. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, so he is correct. Does anyone need Miss Compton to work that one out? I don't mind. Okay. I'm saving 4 and 5 and therefore after tomorrow. So if you're trying to go ahead and get your group points, you go ahead and get them done. There's no rules against you having them done in advance. Okay. Now as for today, the reason we moved the people in the back group is because they would have friends so they can complete the group activity. Every group is going to end up on a 5, if not higher. How many points do you have, Tracy? 4. How many points do you have?
1.
How many points do y'all have? 5 on those? Okay. I'm willing to go up, since they have 1, I'm willing to go up 4 points with everyone. I know, it'd be a ridiculous kind of day. To do so, you have to not get on my nerves, as you know, my point case. Not get on my nerves. Who? Yeah. I know that's how we have a great chat. It's great. You don't want to.
Didn't we
Okay.
get a point because she answered the...
She should have, yeah. So I take that back. Every group can earn 3 extra points. At 3 extra points. All you have to do is surround the room activity and do so without getting on my last nerves. Which means Brittany, if she's talking to Andrew, she's not going to sing and yell across the room. She's going to calmly near him say, hey, I added 5 to both sides. See how she did so quietly? All get on my nerves. It was great. Okay, and then the second thing is, it doesn't matter where your group starts. So it makes sense for Cancel's group to start on 3, because 3 is on that back wall. That makes sense. They're closest to that. Whereas Brittany's group, they've got to decide, are they starting on 1 or are they starting on 6? It doesn't matter where you start. It makes a loop regardless. So if Brittany's group decides to start on 6, they should end up seeing every other station and end up back on 6. If, for some reason, 3 problems in, Brittany ends up back on 6, she's done something wrong, she wants to come show me, I'll help her figure out what happened. Meanwhile, Forrest group should probably start on 9 or 10. They got some options. Okay, that's all you have to do is these 10 problems, but I should warn you, these are harder than a 1-step and a 2-step. These are multi-step, that's why you're in a group.